Hey guys, Akil here. Welcome back to the show, back on video. So you know where to go, Spotify or YouTube if you want the cool version of this video. In today's episode, I want to answer the question of how do I turn an idea, insert light above head, into a strategy. Now, before we get into things today, do me a favor, leave me a rating and a review. You can do it while you're watching and listening. That way it doesn't add any extra time to your day, but it is the best way that you can support the show, and I would be greatly appreciative if you did that. Now, today's question came from somewhere on internet land. I don't remember what social it came from, but it was there, and you guys can reach out to me if you want. And a little bit of a long question, but I want to read it to you to give some framework on what's happening. It said, "Hey Akil, not sure if I'm in a position to ask you this question." Of course you are, but hey, if we don't ask, we don't learn. First, I'd like to thank you for all the hard work. I really appreciate what you do. Ever since I came across your podcast, I have been binge listening since the first episode. Little known fact, the first episode is not number 1, it's 000. Still the most popular episode because, you guys love hearing about me and my journey. I have a daily commute in my car for about an hour and 15 minutes one way. So that's about 2.5 hours of listening to podcasts and learning every day. I'd like to give a bit of background, right? I've been interested in trading for about 4 to 5 months. I have blown 2 accounts in the Forex market, but I've also made some nice profits with crypto as well. I work a lot for my regular daily job, 8 to 5:30 every day, but since the commute is long, I am busy for work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I get up at 5:15 so I can analyze the chart and make my daily analysis based off the 1 hour and 4 hour time frames. When I get home, I try to study as much as possible. At least 2 hours a day, I'm watching videos, reading books, taking notes, or just trying to analyze different pairs and shape my skills. I love hearing that, right? The learning curve in trading could be steep. The way to reduce that learning curve is time in the market. Nothing beats experience. I was talking to a trader this morning on the platform where we had a few of them just sharing ideas. And one guy was like, "Hey, I just want to be clear. Like, I'm not trading this. Like, I don't have a strategy yet. I'm just going into the market and doing analysis and sharing it with you guys. I hope that's okay." I said, yes. I was like, that's cool, right? That's cool, right? Playing in the playground or playing in the sandbox, as I call it, is the best way to learn. Just spend time in the market, learn it, make predictions. It doesn't seem like you're doing much, but those reps are going to pay off massively. Trust me. So hats off to Trader who asked question for putting in so much work, not only before work, but after work in shaping your skills. That's pretty cool. He says, "I used to follow all the videos from this other trading guy," right? I can imagine that's how he meant it when he was typing other trading guy. "But recently he has been self-promoting a lot more, showing profits, saying to enter his program and course, and he became the thing I don't really like. But his videos used to be nice to watch, and I understand the basics of the market from watching them." Let's scroll down a little bit. "Now I'm at the point I want to learn how to develop a strategy, but I am so unsure when something is actually a strategy," right? "The rules I wrote down, I'm not sure if it's really a strategy. I think I need a little help with this, or at least to be pointed in the right direction on where to go. Maybe a video to watch on how to set up a strategy or some info." With that being said, I also want to start backtesting. I want to start backtesting. I want to do a lot of backtesting. Soon I will switch jobs. I'll have 1 month off, and I want to dedicate that full month to trading and developing a strategy to test it. Really sorry for the long message, but I was wondering if you can send me in the right direction and help me out a little bit. You asked, and you shall receive. So again, love that this trader is doing what seems like all of the things that you should be doing as a trader. So if you are not doing the things that this trader wrote about, right, rewind this, go back, listen to everything he's doing, write it down and start doing it yourself. I've worked with tens of thousands of traders over the years. We're probably reaching 100,000 by now. And there are certain traits that successful traders have. There are certain traits that non-successful traders have. And usually we can eyeball those traits right away and tell if someone's going to be successful or fail out. And these are the traits of a successful trader. So doesn't mean you're going to be great, but you have a chance. And in kind of a field where 90% of us fail in the first 90 days, having a chance is good. That is like a win. So to get to the question about a strategy, this is an interesting one because I think we give too much power to what a strategy is. A trading strategy is nothing more than a systematic set of rules that are testable, verifiable, and repeatable. I should say a good trading strategy is a systematic set of rules that is testable, verifiable, and repeatable. Systematic set of rules means that, think of it like a flow chart. We like to use kind of the if-then syntax where it's like, if this, then that. If this, then that. Right? Kind of like if you're following instructions, right? It's systematic. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to do whatever I want. There is a process that you're following. And with the rules, systematic set of rules, it is a rules-based process, meaning that you have different rules defining different things, and you have to do certain things if different things show on the market. This is what keeps you consistent. As far as testable, verifiable, and repeatable, that means that, one, you can test it. If you don't have rules, you can't test it, because if you just say, hey, Akil, test this strategy, I'm going to say, what are the rules? If you're like, I don't have any rules, I'm going to say, how can I test it? Right? So it has to be testable. Verifiable means that results can actually be had from your test, meaning like quantitative. So you're not just like testing a double top and like, oh yeah, that looks like it's good. Like, no. It needs to be verifiable. I need quantitative data that says this thing has an edge, meaning that it creates profit. And then repeatable. It needs to be something that you can repeat. Now, this is a tricky one. You would assume everything is repeatable, but trust me, I've worked with traders who have had rules that were so in-depth and like 80 million billion rules to take a trade that situation in the market actually never occurred. Here's an example. When I was a younger trader, I hope I can find the chart, right? My chart looked like this. Right? Did you see it? If you're listening to audio version, you didn't. That's why you should be on Spotify or YouTube checking out the video version. But it looked like that because when I first started trading, before I had any rules or any idea what I was doing, I was heavy into indicators. And I was just Google searching indicators and finding indicators. And every time I would Google search something, I would add it to my chart. So my chart had about 15 indicators on it because I was like, ooh, that looks good. Momentum. Ooh, that looks good. Strength. Ooh, that looks good. That looks good. And I would add them all. And my brilliant idea was this. I got all these cool indicators. When all of them align, right, like Captain Planet, when our powers combine, right, when all of them align, it will give me the best trading opportunity in the world, right? Because if 15 things are all pointing in the same direction, yeah, we should probably be going in that direction. So I was proud of myself, right? Tapped myself on the back, did the money dance, right? And then I didn't back test back then, right? Back test, right? Just pour live money in and hop in the fire. And that's what I did. I hopped in the fire and I would look at my charts and I'd be like, okay, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think I ever got like 14, but let's say, for example, I would get to 14. I'd be sitting there, just one more, baby. One more, baby. The 15th indicator. It gave me the positive direction. Time to enter the trade. 4 others would turn the other way, right? Because all indicators are different. I didn't do anything about changing settings, right? So that was an example of a strategy. It wasn't rules-based. It wasn't testable. I guess it was testable. It wasn't I guess it was verifiable if it ever gave a signal. But it certainly wasn't repeatable because the thing that I needed never actually happened in the market, right? It's similar to like someone making a strategy that says, hey, I'm only going to trade counter trend at all-time highs. And it's like, yeah, how often are we at all-time highs? Right? Maybe it's technically repeatable. There's one person out there. Well, if it happens twice, it's repeatable. But it's not realistic. You're never going to trade like that in real life. So testable, verifiable, repeatable for big enough sample size is something that has to be a strategy. So the question now is, how do I find or create one? We'll stick to the creating one, right? First thing is you have to have an idea of what do you want to accomplish, right? Do you want to be trend continuation? Do you want to be counter trend? Are you, what do you value? We had a good conversation this morning in our Q&A session. In our live room, about the CTS system. I might actually make that a YouTube video for you. We'll see. But pretty much the CTS system was a grouping of technical tools and things that we did in our analysis, and we quantified them. We gave them a score base. So the higher the score you get, the better the trading opportunity was, and then Could you enter a trade? Couldn't you enter a trade? How much size you can use was all based off of that score. So you want to take these things that you want. I like structure. I like counter trend. I like this. I like that. I'm not going to go into a full thing of like all of strategy development because that's going to be a very, very, very long podcast and I want to keep these things short. But figure out what you want to do. Figure out what figure out what you want to do. Figure out what technical tools you want to use. For you guys listening to audio, I put up weird fingers. I went from 1 to 3 and skipped step 2. That's the magic secret step. Figure out what you want to do. Figure out what technical tools you want to use. And then you need to start coming up with theories and hypotheses of words, right? Of what you want to do. And start playing with that if-then syntax. If price action comes to major structure, then I look for RSI to be overbought. If RSI is overbought, then I look for double top. If I look for double top, then I look for RSI divergence. I don't know why I'm doing this, but it's cool. And the audio or the video version is so entertaining. That's why I keep recommending that you guys check it out. Plus, I do a lot of editing, so I want people to actually watch it. But you come up with that set of rules and then you put it into that if-then syntax, that flow chart where it's boom, then boom, then boom, then boom, then boom, then boom. And then there's a long road of tweaking and testing and adding, subtracting, adding filters, changing settings, all of that fun stuff. But eventually you come up with a rules-based way of trade. And here's the cool thing. Anything could be rules-based, just assign rules to it. So ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? And when you're writing rules, write those rules as if you were giving your system or strategy to someone else to test. So imagine like if you were creating a strategy and you were giving it to me. If you were like, hey, Akil, you're a coder. Test this strategy. You write it in a way that me, coder, would be able to know exactly what you were doing. This was a really good practice I used early in my trading career. I worked with a lot of coders because one of my mentors was a discretionary trader. My other mentor was more of a mechanical trader. So whenever I had an idea about something, he's like, write it to me in a way that you can code it. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, if you can write it to me in a way that I can code it, it means there's no gray area. So I can't tell you how many drafts I sent over of like trading plans. He's like, nah, I don't understand this. Quantify it. I'm like, ugh, like, come on. But it got the point across. And again, the idea is to eliminate as much subjectivity as possible and to make sure there's no or limited holes in that trading plan. So that's what you want to do if you want to turn an idea into a plan. You have to make it rules-based. It should be systematic. It should be testable, verifiable, and repeatable. And yes, that is a long process, depending if you're starting from scratch or taking something from someone else. There's nothing wrong with taking something from someone else. So many traders have egos where it's like, I need to think of something of my own, where the truth is it doesn't matter, right? Our goal is what? To make money in the market. If that is using something that someone else did, yes, right? You may take something and make it your own. I think a lot of us end up that way, where we take an idea off of the internet, off of a book, whatnot, and then we put our own little twist to it. There's no shame in doing that. But whatever that idea is, or wherever that idea comes from, just make sure you follow those steps. That way you can be consistent with it. And you guys know what I say, right? Consistent analysis plus consistent execution equal consistent results. Speaking of consistency, make sure you're consistent with listening to the Trading Coach podcast. 5 brand new episodes each and every week, so make sure you stay on top of them. Many of the subjects do kind of follow up on previous podcasts. If you want to catch the inside jokes and maybe a little bit of background information on what we're talking about currently, make sure you're in the mix with those past episodes as well. All right, until next time, plan your trade, trade your plan. Take care.